All right, ready?
I'm ready.
Five, 4, 3.
The countdown. I don't know because I did want to do something here. So like if I say quarterback's name, are you gonna be able to talk about him?
What do you mean?
So if I say like Phillip Rivers,
Duck.
duck,
Mm-hmm. You ever see what his passes look like?
they're ducks.
They're ducks.
Jay Cutler,
Washed up.
Aaron Rodgers.
Goat.
Eli Manning.
Ooh, Hall of Famer.
I got you on that one.
Let me
Tom
ask
Brady.
my boy.
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady, ultimate goat.
Russell.
First name Russell, last name Wilson. I mean, that's a perfect description of the guy.
Jameis Winston.
Jameis Winston, Squints. I'll never get that image out of my head.
Crab legs? No, not crab legs.
No, I mean, come on.
Oof.
Like, it's just priceless. Like, even my mother used to comment, like, how is he going to play football? Like, you can't see anything.
My dog. Marcus.
Marcus, I think of Hawaii.
All right, fair enough. All right,
I was waiting for you to say Derek Carr because then I was just going to say Jesus.
Tim Tebow.
Mess.
Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz, I think of Prince Harry.
Okay, I was going to. Jesus
Twins.
would have worked too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to episode 7 of the FATstaters podcast. Today, we will be talking about AFC West. We're going to run through the quarterbacks, how they ranked among the NFL, how they ranked among the AFC West, and just, talk our opinions, speak some fat stats, and we'll get going. This is brought to you by FATstats. With me is Mike Papa,
Like always.
Keith. You might recognize him from Go Fick Yaself, GFY
What's going on,
podcast.
everybody? How you doing?
And he's sitting in his host chair right now, but on this show, it's the guest chair.
It's a little weird. It's like usually Bobby's on my right during my show, and now I'm on his show, and I'm to his right.
I don't know if he's gonna be able to,
It's a little awkward.
hang back a little bit. He might just start taking over.
No,
You're gonna
no,
see,
no,
we'll be able to see it in the video how much he fidgets and whatnot
Yeah.
because he was trying to hold something back. But we'll be able to see.
No. This is your guys' show. I'm here just to add my insights.
This is also your show. You're one of the graders.
Technically, yes, I am one of the graders.
Among other things.
Yeah.
Among others.
But you guys, you're a baby. This is your guys' creation. This is what you guys started.
So sweet.
So, brought to you by FATstats. We analyze the game of football, and we try and do it in the most entertaining way possible for you all. So you can find us on Instagram, _team_stats. Also find us on Facebook. Find us on Twitter, _team_stats. You can find us on Medium if you like to read. You can also find this and Go Fick Yourself. And we started posting content about our team meetings and anything FATstats related that can have a video to it. YouTube, SoundCloud, you'll find these 2 podcasts. And mini helmets. We do not sell those, but you can get those on eBay, I'm guessing.
It was assigned
Yeah.
Eddie George.
Yeah,
Eddie George.
Mini helmet.
EG27?
I got that live, by the way, in person.
I don't know. I mean,
Anyway.
how else would you have gotten?
I could have bought it.
Okay.
That's true.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. And we don't have, none of us have an AFC West
Why
jersey. I don't know. I mean, why would Mike have most of the jerseys that we've had up there?
Well, the Roger Staubach, I would assume because Mike's father is a big Cowboys fan, and that's why Mike would have that.
What
That's
about the
I
Ed
was-
Reed one? Oh, that's Kyle's.
It's
wasn't
Ed
it?
Reed, baby.
Kyle's.
That's Ed Reed.
Yeah, true.
Is that it? All right.
It's Ed Reed.
All right. All right. So let's start off with
The guy who has 8 children.
Antonio Cromartie.
Don't fat check me on that though.
Yeah, I don't know if he has 8 children.
Antonio Cromartie. He's got his own show now.
Does he?
So okay. So on GFY we talk about wrestling a lot, but during the commercials during the USA Network, they advertise Antonio Cromartie's show, and it's like him as now a stay-home dad, and he literally, he has like no idea what's going on. I've never watched the show. I just see the commercials, and it's like his kids just like terrorize the crap out of him.
Interesting.
Jeez, that sounds miserable.
Right?
The things that stations do for shows, I don't understand.
But I mean, at one point he did it like there's an interview with him when he was on the Chargers, so this is relevant. when they asked him, like, how many kids do you have? And, like, he didn't remember. And they asked him how old they were. He's like, I got a couple. I think are like 2 right now or something. And, like, it just got me. But there was, like, he had an age of kids that was, like, let's say 5. Like, 5 kids who were a certain age. And I looked, and that was a year that he got, like, a major contract. He had gotten, like, paid.
Yeah, and he's trying to play as long as he
He
could.
was piping everything.
Yeah, so Phillip Rivers, Mr. Madface, Mr.
Bolo tie.
Yeah, you could say Mr. Regular Season Consistency. We were, right before this the show, we were just trying to think about what is one sentence we could sum up Phillip Rivers. And Keith, you were saying that he's consistent during the regular season. He gets the job done. The guy is a warrior out there in the field. He does what he needs to do to get the job done and some. The guy's he's a clutch in the regular season. And then when he gets to the playoffs, he kind of shits the bed.
The funny thing about Phillip Rivers, though, is he always finds himself in the same situation. Down 1 score, length of the field to go, 27 seconds, no timeouts.
Always.
Every single game.
Yeah.
Every single game.
Yeah.
I think you kind of feel bad for him.
Yeah. Yeah. So Phillip Rivers, though, he was the number 1 quarterback in the AFC West, and he was 9th best in the NFL as far as fat grades. The grades that we produce with our very own grading system, he was number 9, 77.6. His true accuracy was 13th best in the league, so he was fairly accurate, 65.6%. And if you look at the most, and I'm throwing some stats out there just to give you some perspective, but being that he's been so consistent from 16 to 17. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, just watching him, but from our fact grades, Austin, our residential writer, just put out an article on medium.com, and we'll post it, the top 5 most consistent quarterbacks over the last 2 years, and he came in as number 5. He's consistent.
I feel like if you spanned out his whole career, he would probably rank as top 5 most consistent quarterbacks. Just, I think, because he does... If you look at Phillip Rivers' stat line, I feel like every year it's like the same thing. 30-something touchdowns, 15, 16, 17-something, picks, 4,000 yards every year.
I feel like he's been a top 10, top 5 quarterback throughout his career. I mean, he reached that top 5 level at certain years, but he didn't. He was definitely top 10 throughout his whole career. He definitely was consistent, and interesting that you say that. I mean, this year he was 20th in the league with 61%.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it seems like with the Chargers, it's like this past year, they were a scary team towards the end, and I know like a lot of people were predicting them if they went on to the playoffs and they played the Patriots or whatnot, that they could have beat them, even the Steelers. And I mean, maybe they're a hot team going into next year for sure.
Yeah, and especially they got Keenan Allen back was huge. Mm-hmm. He improved year over year for them, right? He was 17th in 2016 on our grades, 75. He moved up again. He improved. He got a 77.6 in 2017. But Keenan Allen being there, and they didn't even have their number 1 or their first round draft pick, Mike Williams. Mm-hmm. So that team is just going to keep improving. That defense is nice.
It's only getting better. Yeah, sure.
I can't recall their run game. Like who? Oh, Melvin.
Melvin,
wow.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know why I drew.
That's my fantasy running back.
Yeah, it was. Funny tidbit on Derek Carr. Phillip Rivers. Before we can move on to Derek Carr, just imagine Eli wasn't a baby. Imagine Eli not being a diva in 2003. And what 2000? I'm losing the year for a second, but what could have happened if Phillip Rivers was on the Giants and Eli was a Charger?
Well, I know your answer. You're satisfied and completely happy that you have Eli.
150%.
Because obviously you won your Super Bowls with them, yeah.
And I would take those any day of the week over regular season stats.
It's funny because I feel like Phillip Rivers is just as good as Eli, if not better. But based on Eli has those rings and he's very healthy. So I guess so is Phillip Rivers.
That draft class was tough because Ben was in it too.
True.
And Ben has 2 rings and Eli has 2.
What a quarterback class that was.
And it's the only quarterback class in history to have 2 quarterbacks to be multiple Super Bowl winners.
And how does that feel for Phillip Rivers not to be one?
You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
And to think that maybe it could have been him, but then you always think like maybe we didn't make the playoffs that year, or maybe
if you
maybe
guys
he threw some, maybe he did something different than Eli. Maybe he wouldn't have broke out of those sacks.
no, for sure. If you guys had Phillip Rivers, it'd be a completely different story.
So maybe,
It could be.
Maybe the Chargers won 2 Super Bowls with Eli. You never
Yeah.
know.
So the Chargers, they did sign Geno Smith, obviously to back up Phillip Rivers because I doubt he takes over the job. I mean,
That's exactly what Bobby did.
quality backup, I guess. Eh.
He started last year.
No.
He's not a quality backup.
No.
Backup, yeah.
It's a backup
It's a
quarterback
guy-
position. You don't expect him to play. And if he does
It's a
play,
guy you could trust to maybe win one
I'm
game.
sorry.
for
If you mean
too.
quality, you mean a body to stand there with a headset on.
Who was theirs
Then
last
yeah,
year?
okay.
Who was their backup?
You're right.
last
He's
year?
very capable.
I don't even know who the backup was last year. Honestly, Geno Smith's not going to play, so it really doesn't matter. So
Yeah,
I'd rather have Jay Cutler as my backup.
shut up.
I would.
That's
that's tough.
didn't mean to, like-
That's tough.
He's a vet.
I didn't mean to like do that, like to go at
Now,
you. Stop.
you being the Dolphins fan, you watched Jay Cutler this whole year.
He's not
You
good.
You still would rather. I mean, Geno
As a
Smith was a
starter.
Jet, but you still would rather Geno Smith or Jay Cutler be the backup than Jay Cutler, or Jay Cutler than Geno Smith.
They both made me vomit.
Yeah, they do. All right, let's move on from them. Let's go to the Chiefs.
Yep.
Alex Smith.
See you later.
What? No, okay, so Alex Smith had a 74.4, which was 15th in the NFL. It seemed like that people were chanting MVP season for him. They came out hot. They kind of fizzled in the middle of the year. He had a good year, and in the playoffs lost to the Titans. Of course, I had to throw that out there.
Yeah, I had to.
But Alex Smith, see, I feel like with Alex Smith, it's like this quarterback that you want to start on your team, but then again, you don't want him to start on your team. Like I don't know, he's a good, accurate player. I mean, he can use his legs really well still with his age, but he's just like the ones that you just kind of want to. I don't know, just a normal starting quarterback.
Well, as we were talking before we started about Alex Smith and how we could how would you describe Alex Smith? And at first, I didn't have anything, and then it dawned. I was like, and I looked at Bobby, and I said, he's the kind of guy who he'll show you what your team needs to do to win. He'll lay out the blueprint for you. He'll tell you this is what you need to do, how you need to do it, and when you need to do it. And then his team will replace him with a younger, more athletic version of him, and just bye.
It's so real.
And this is the second time
that
it's
is the best
happened to him.
description of a quarterback that we've come up with so far because it's so true.
And then it's like, okay, so when he went from the Niners to the Chiefs, you were like, how is he going to fit there? I don't really know. And then he played really well. And then it's like, okay, now they got rid of him. Why would you get rid of him? Oh, okay, now the Redskins have him. And it's like, first of all, is he even better than what the Redskins had?
See-
We'll talk about Kirk on another show. And then it's like, is he going to do that? And then in 2 years, they're going to find the younger, more athletic version of him
100%.
again? Like,
Well,
it's
at
just,
that
I feel
point,
bad for the guy.
at that point, I hope he retires. I mean, I don't know.
don't know
It
how old
seems
he
like
is.
Alex Smith has had really good years in Kansas City. I don't know if it's 4 or 5 years, however long it's
I think they
been.
made the playoffs every year with him.
He's had a really good years with
Andy Reid.
Andy Reid. It's funny because it's so true. They have Patrick Mahomes, who we don't really have a grade for, who is like a younger version of Alex Smith in a way, who can probably throw it deeper.
No, he can. They say he had
sure.
the best arm coming out of the draft. They ranked him as the best arm.
Which Alex Smith does have a good deep arm also. Well,
Accurate.
he was accurate. He couldn't hit it deep, but he
doesn't
was
use it.
accurate
He
deep.
didn't really need to
No, well,
because Tyreek Hill
I
was
mean, you just threw it up
already
there. Just,
open.
90
you
yards down.
you threw it
the
right
field.
off the snap, and Tyreek Hill's
Tyreek's
already 30 yards down the field.
Ooh-wee.
But now you have Sammy and Tyreek Hill, right, on
With
the
Kareem.
outside. Then you got Kareem Hunt, and did they still have Spencer Ware?
I was gonna say, didn't they get way back?
I believe they
I
still
think
do.
I don't
Yes.
think they've released him.
No, I'll double check right now.
He just was injured. I think Jacandrick West is gone though.
Little tidbit, because we're throwing tidbits out about things. Alex Smith went to Utah. He was the number 1 pick in 2005. Marks the only year in sports history where the number 1 pick for basketball and football both went to the same school. Andrew Bogut,
That's-
center, Utah, was taken with the first pick.
That's a fat stat.
Same year as Alex Smith was.
Now, were you guys surprised? Go ahead.
One more, I'm sorry. And then my little tidbit about Patty Mahomes is Patty Mahomes' dad used to actually be a pitcher for my New York Mets.
Now that's a fat
I
stat.
had to throw that one out there too.
You
Shout
know,
out, Mets.
Are you guys surprised that Alex Smith got traded?
Yes
I know
and
there
no.
was talks about it, but were you surprised?
Yes and no.
Yeah,
See,
same way.
I'm surprised because he had a really good year.
A really good
and
year.
If he, especially with them getting Sammy Watkins, like he could have been just as good or if not better, in my opinion, with the run game also. Do they really trust Patrick Mahomes to be able to give the same production as Alex Smith?
They're gonna have to.
They see something in him that we don't see, obviously. You know what I mean?
Right. We don't really
They
have
work
anything.
with the guy every day. They see something in him, so they know what they have in him.
I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
I just
That's all we can.
I don't know.
What I like about Alex Smith too, and this is something that stood out from any of we were looking at the numbers before the show. The grade, a lot of that grade didn't reflect how good of a year he had, but only because a lot of the games, the big games that he had, was a product of having a great running game, great yak from from Tyreek Hill, from Kareem Hunt out of the backfield, Shakandrick West. With that being said, he had this stat, pass attempts per interceptable ratio, and what interceptable is a stat that we track where it's whether or not the pass, whether it was picked off or not, this pass should have been picked or intercepted by the defender. He had a number 68.6, which is basically every 3 games, given how much Alex Smith throws, more or less.
That's terrible.
2.5.
Every 3 games, he would throw an interceptable pass. That's great.
Yeah.
That's amazing. It was, and then Tyrod Taylor was next, and he was like 10 pass attempts fewer.
I said that's terrible, meaning like why would you trade somebody like that who's only going to throw you one interceptable
At
pass?
least let Patty Mahomes get another year. One more.
I agree. Now, go ahead.
No, I forgot. It was something about Alex Smith and you said, are you surprised? You asked that question. I'm surprised who he got traded to. That's what I was surprised about. That the Redskins felt that Alex Smith is better than Kirk Cousins. I don't feel that way.
Well, I feel like they just didn't want to pay the amount of money that Kirk Cousins got.
Shout out Kirk for getting that guaranteed.
That's real. But last thing, unless you guys have anything else with Alex Smith, you were talking about him being accurate and throwing, an interceptable ball every almost 3 games. He was 15th in the league with 65%, and that compared to Philip Rivers, Philip Rivers was 13th.
In what?
In true accuracy.
It's consistency though.
And his consistency, Alex Smith was 5th best in the NFL at 41%. Closer to 0, the better. So Alex Smith was consistent all year. Then again, what this looks like to me is he wasn't really taking a lot of chances, and when he was throwing to open receivers,
We also forgot to mention Kelsey.
Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill.
That guy.
Yeah, that guy.
So listen, he had weapons with him, and I don't think he's gonna be able to give the same production with the Redskins than he did with the Chiefs. It's gonna be tough.
Skins got some weapons though.
They
bro.
do. Well, I mean, Jordan Reed always gets hurt.
I was reading something on Doxson,
coming
and they're
along.
saying a lot of it was Kirk not being able to get him the ball. I watched the
can
whole
see
They
that.
tried.
thread on it today while I was in the bathroom earlier, and they were showing that Dotson was running past everybody, and Kirk just was throwing ducks. So
Yeah.
Kirk couldn't hit him,
But they
Kirk
were throwing at
overthrew
him.
But they throw at him all the time, bro.
Kirk, I like Kirk, but we'll see how he does in Minnesota. All right, last thing before we move on. Do you think he does better in Washington or worse?
I hope not.
I think he does worse.
Well, yeah.
I think
obviously,
Andy Reid, offensive mind, he's a genius and on offense, and I just think that offense will always flow, and it was so good. There's no way, in my opinion, that Alex Smith can replicate that season with the Redskins and just how they run their offense. I just don't think
they got the running backs.
I know.
I think Alex Smith will be able to if the running game works.
And
well.
if Jordan Reed stays healthy.
Yes.
Do they have a burner? Crowder? Still Crowder on that team? Still?
Yeah, Crowder,
But he's in the slot, really. Tyreek Hill was that burner that he killed him in the slot every now and then, but he was mainly on the outside and he was a burner.
But they have the 3-headed running backs, and they always throw Thompson out there.
You're right.
Thompson's their burner.
Reed's got to stay healthy for him, though.
Absolutely.
DC foe, baby.
Okay. The most regressed quarterback, second most regressed and second most disappointing quarterback from 2016 to 2017. You can actually see that in another article that Austin wrote that's on medium.com of our top 5 most disappointing quarterbacks. Derek Carr came in at second. He, in 2016, had an 83 FAT grade. Put him at 7th best in the league. signed his big contract. He got hurt. Finished 2017 with a 69.6.
Yuck.
19th in the NFL.
19th in the NFL.
For our grades. It was just a complete off year for him. I don't know. It just seemed like he wasn't. I guess like you said in the beginning before we started, maybe it was due to his injury. He was still trying to figure out how to come back and play the same way. But it just seemed like he was a completely different player. Like he just wasn't the same player. He seemed way more inaccurate, which is interesting because his true accuracy for us, he was 9th best in the NFL with a 65.9, which to me it seemed like he was, he might have been a little more inaccurate.
There was something about the Raiders, I feel like at the beginning of the year that I just thought seemed off about them all year. Like all year, just like even before the season started, I just felt like I don't think they're going to duplicate that magic. Like they were all cocky, they were all this, all that, and blah 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 blah. They signed Lynch. Carr was coming back from the injury, and I just think that they let it all get to their heads.
Yeah, I agree.
And they couldn't perform to their level. Look at Coop, bro. Coop, pardon my French, had a terrible effing season, man. Like he was horrible. He dropped more passes than, you know what I mean?
Oh, but he's had a struggle with that in the past, but this year it just really stood out.
He would make up for it by doing. He might drop two balls in a game, but he'll make up for it by going 150 and 3 touchdowns.
I remember I tried trading Alec for Amari Cooper the night before that 3 touchdown game he had where they were just peppering him with.
I remember.
I was so pissed because I wanted him, but I'm glad I didn't get him because he shit together the rest of the year.
Now I feel like they got rid of Crab. They did get Jordy, right? If I'm not mistaken, they signed Jordy.
Still got Marshawn.
Have Marshawn. I don't know, dude. I feel like that they just might.
Is this a 2003?
This might just be them, bro. Like I think that this just might be the Oakland Raiders.
So 2003 Buccaneers of the Gruden. That's what I was getting at.
I forgot Gruden's back, man.
Gruden's there.
Their defense isn't on par with them.
Hill can get it there, but you didn't hear of half of those players until Gruden took over them. You know what I mean? You heard of Warren, and that was about it. You didn't know who Derek Brooks was, really. We were young then, too. So
Khalil Mack. See what he does. But, okay, so I talked about true accuracy. He was, what was he, 5th, I said?
9th.
He was 9th? Okay.
65.9.
So he was 9th. Now, through an anonymous source, I'll say, the Raiders were 3rd team-wise in drop passes. So Derek Carr was getting his ball there somewhat.
Right, that's why he was very accurate.
Yeah.
But like we just said that. Crab and Coop were dropping everything. Mm-hmm. Walford was dropping a lot of passes. A lot of passes dropped out of the backfield. The O-line regressed. They just looked like it wasn't just Derek Carr. That was that whole team. Defense, offense, special teams. That was the whole team.
Like you said, it seemed like they got to their head and they
we went 12 and 4.
The bed. Yeah.
We lost 2 games because we didn't have Derek Carr in.
Yeah.
We're straight next year. That's exactly what happened.
So, yeah, and you talk about his accuracy, but so while you were saying that, it was like, okay, he's accurate. Players dropping balls. But there's a reason why he dropped down to 69. Mm-hmm. You look at his pass attempts per interceptable ratio. He was 21st. He was under Joe Flacco in number of passes. Every 25 passes, he would throw an interceptable pass. So that's about 1 a game, more or less.
And what was Alex? Alex was ranked 2, you said?
Alex was ranked 1, 68.5.
I thought you said 2, okay.
So Derek Carr.
It's like 3 balls every 2 games.
Yeah, so Alex Smith
is 2.5 games.
Yeah.
And then that's every 1 game? Or wait, you said how many, Bobby?
20 for Derek Carr?
But 25.
No, yeah.
About 20.
25 pass attempts. So about 1 game, he'd throw a pick. More or less. Every 25 pass attempts, he'd throw an interceptable pass.
That's like 1 point, I would say about 1.5. Because
Derek
Carr threw about 35, 40 passes a game, dude.
Yeah, for sure. It's about 1.5 a game.
That's terrible.
He also was 23rd in the NFL in consistency ranking at 69%. So he wasn't very consistent either. He was in the lower half of the league.
And there you have it.
Consistency closer to 0, the better you are.
Correct.
Thanks. Yeah.
All right, and now let's
speed round through these puppies.
Can we just? I don't even
want to talk about the Broncos, to be honest.
Broncos.
You want me to run through it real quick? Trevor Siemian, garbage. Brock Osweiler, garbage. Trevor Siemian ranked 23rd. He was 66th grade. True accuracy. He ranked 25th with a 55.8, and consistency he was 24 with a 75. Brock didn't play enough games to get a ranking from us, but he did have a grade of a 57.6, a consistency rating of a 101, which is god-awful, and his true accuracy was a 53. If you want to compare Brock to a quarterback that played a lot of games, Deshaun Kaiser is what Michael told me.
Had the same grade.
Had the same exact grade. Obviously, he had more gradable plays. They were garbage. We beat them, and we weren't expected to, the Giants.
Siemian started off well.
Welcome
crazy.
to Miami, Brock. Go ahead.
Oh, that's right. He's on the freaking
He's a
Dolphins,
backup.
dude.
Actually, you know what? How about this? Brock Osweiler or Geno Smith is your backup quarterback.
Give me Brock Osweiler.
Brock Osweiler.
Oh, my God.
I already had Geno Smith.
Whoa.
I had Geno Smith as my backup.
That is true. That
Geno
is
just
true.
lost
Brock
his,
That is
Osweiler,
true.
dude.
Geno lost his swag. Like he looks so unconfident
Brock,
there.
though?
You know when
Brock
he lost
just
his
looks like a
swag?
stone. Like he never had swag. He never lost it.
You know when he lost his swag, Geno? When they didn't call him on the first day of the draft. That was it. That was his downfall.
Yeah.
Oh, right away. Wow.
Miramar High.
However, Case Keenum, I'll run through this number real quick, and the two of these boys will go more in detail when they get to the NFC North. But Case Keenum, who's now the Broncos' starting quarterback going into next year, he was ranked 5th. He had an 82.5 grade. He ranked 2nd in true accuracy with a 68.5, obviously behind the one and only Drew Brees. Bobby said was at like 74, which is fucking crazy. Sorry. That's just insane.
A lot of behind the line.
That's just I know, but
Passes.
still, like
Actually, he did throw deep a lot, too.
he did.
So,
But I'm just saying that's just crazy.
yeah, it is.
And his consistency, he was 12 with a 47, which would put him as the second best amongst these group of guys. I think that he's a perfect fit for them. I think Bebe and Emmanuel are going to have a tremendous year next year.
I'm excited.
I think the two of those boys are really – I think they become Diggs and Thielen. I feel like they become the Diggs and Thielen combo over there.
Sanders is so nice. He's on my dynasty team.
You know, I'm not sold on Case Keenum yet. Based on his prior run-ins.
That was not him. That was
Maybe it was Jeff Fisher. Maybe it was Case Keenum. You know, I don't know.
100% Jeff Fisher.
But think about you. It's Jeff Fisher because
Quarterback killer.
look what Jared Goff did, dude.
I
Look
feel
what
you.
Jared Goff did.
But then again, McVay. And then
Look what Sam Bradford did. Look what Case Keenum did. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
No, I feel you.
it's Jeff Fisher, dude.
Listen.
The quarterback killer.
I know all about Jeff Fisher, okay?
I know Jeff Fisher has nothing to do with this, but in the Levitard show for March Madness, they do a thing called March Sadness, and Kansas was sponsored by Jeff Fisher. Looks like the guy who Jeff Fisher looks like he hired Todd Gurley to watch Todd Gurley have sex with his wife.
Oh, God.
He looks like the guy. Not saying he is the guy who did that, but
Oh, God. All right, anything about the Broncos? They signed Case Keenum and lost Brock Osweiler.
and they also lost one of their wide receivers, Lattimore. Giants picked him up.
Really?
Cody Lattimore?
They cut him?
I'm pretty sure.
He's nice. I like him.
We scooped up one of their. I don't remember.
Yeah, Cody Lattimore.
Okay.
You still have Travis Rudolph?
Yeah.
All right.
By the way, the Raiders, back to the Raiders real quick, they signed Jordy Nelson and Doug Martin. So their offense,
They got Doug Martin.
they got Doug Martin, yeah.
Jordy.
I had no idea they
Yeah.
had Doug Martin.
Doug Martin
hamster.
and Jordy Nelson. So Jordy Nelson, Michael Crabtree, okay. Doug Martin would definitely help.
This division's up in the air next year. I don't know how you guys feel about it.
Chargers.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. A good point.
This is up in the air. To me.
Let's end this, but because we usually do. Oh,
yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, before we end, you know what? We end the show based on, our predictions here. RG3 was signed by the Ravens.
Crazy.
And I just want to say that I feel like I'm not saying Joe Flacco's going to get hurt. I feel like RG3 will start a game, at least one game for the Ravens next year.
It
That's
would
a
have
hot-
to be because Joe Flacco.
That's a
got hurt.
fat take.
It would have to be because he got hurt. No way.
Fat take.
Even if he completely tanks.
I don't know. No, I agree. They won't bench Joe Flacco, but I still feel like RG3 will get a
Boy
snap,
won a
get
Super
a
Bowl
game.
for them. They will never bench that guy.
I'm not saying they'll bench him.
I should never say never. 200 and something games
I mean,
obviously means shit to
Yeah.
Ben McAdoo.
Eli. Yeah,
I mean,
that's been McAdoo.
they need help. He needs help anyway.
So last year, do you guys remember their records? Because I can run through them real quick. Kansas City Chiefs 10-6, Chargers 9-7, Raiders 6-10, Broncos 5-11. How many teams from this division make the playoffs next year?
That's so tough.
That's tough. I'm gonna go
I know
one.
Chargers are always there.
I'm going one.
Who?
I'm going to Chargers.
Okay.
See, I feel like no. Go ahead. Explain why.
Because excuse me. It's a three-sided game actually, right? I think that the Chargers have the best defensive player in the division.
Khalil Mack.
I take Joey Bosa over Khalil Mack.
That's tough.
Joey Bosa is
Bosa's
an
nice.
absolute
No,
monster.
he's nice.
Him and Melvin Ingram. Like, are you kidding me? Like the two, that's a sick duo right there.
And their cornerback Casey Hayward is nice.
Yes, and so they got like Casey Hayward. Actually, him and Marcus Peters was going at it during the Pro Bowl. Like they literally went almost fisticuffs. I see Phillip being on point. I might go as far as saying this: they could be in the Super Bowl this year. I could see it.
See, it feeds off what I was saying. You know, they were a scary team last year. You know, heading into the postseason, I don't think if they would have won, they would probably be the Patriots.
Melvin's gonna roll.
They could have played in the Super Bowl.
Melvin will roll. The wide receivers are like Keenan Allen just has to stay healthy.
Mike Williams.
And then
he
Mike
played
Williams coming
3
back.
games last year.
Well, and Hunter Henry is
He's
really
good for
solid.
them. He's good for them.
Gates will probably just show up in the end zone.
Continue to
Just show
play.
up in the end zone and count. At the end of the year, he'll have 8 touchdowns, and we'll be like, "How the hell did he do that?" You know. That's my take. What do you
Okay,
think, Bob?
Mike. Me personally, Mike, is
My bad, dude.
no, your thanks. So I think it's one as well. It's crazy to think that the Chiefs aren't gonna. You know what? I think it's 2. I think Chiefs make it wild card. I think Chargers win the division. Just because the Chiefs their defense is still solid. Eric Berry's going to come back, obviously, and then they'll be fine on
But they
defense.
lost Marcus Peters.
Yeah, but they still – you got Eric Berry out there. But it's not even the defense. You still on the offense. You still have weapons. You signed Sammy Watkins. You have Tyreek Hill. You have Kareem Hunt.
That's foreshadowing.
Kareem, get the money.
You got Sammy. You said.
So I think it's wild card Kansas City and Chargers win the division.
So with Patrick Mahomes starting and no Marcus Peters, you think they still make the playoffs? Wild card?
They could slip in at 9-7.
That's what I think. That's what I think. They'll slip
they
in.
could be 9-7.
8-8 even.
I want to say 1, but I'm gonna go 2. 2 teams make the playoffs. Chargers win the division, unanimous here. They're the better team in my opinion. And then I'm gonna go the Raiders. I think Derek Carr is gonna get back on track. Doug Martin's going to help the running game with Marshawn Lynch. And then, like you were talking about, their defense could be even better. I feel like the Raiders could be second in the division.
I'm just shaking my head because I completely had no idea that the Raiders had Doug Martin. No idea.
To be honest, it doesn't matter.
I don't know. They have a good offensive line, so.
Listen, it's like we all said, the Chargers will go to the playoffs in that division.
Yeah.
And then watch us all be wrong. Watch the Broncos go like 13-3. Case Keenum just keeps balling. People keep doubting, you know?
Yeah, it's possible. I hope that happens. So, any last remarks? Mike, did you miss anything? Free agency? Any news? No? Feel good? Keith, do you have any more fat stats? Any more anything you want to say to the people?
Just want to thank you guys for the opportunity to let me be on this episode. I appreciate it.
Okay.
This was thought it would be a cool division, but it ended up being a poop one.
Well, you called this out on your Go Fick Yaself podcast. So.
But I will leave you with this. We forgot to mention in week 11, Phillip Rivers posted 100 fat grade. Again, it was the Nathan Peterman game.
It's rare.
It was the Nathan Peterman game. I will say that. But he did post 100 fat grade.
For people who don't know who Nathan Peterman is.
Making him having the best game of any quarterback in this division.
Who's Nathan Peterman?
Nathan Peterman was, he played for Pittsburgh, the college. Then he went to Buffalo, and they thought that he would be Tyrod Taylor.
They benched him for Tyrod.
They thought he would be better than him, and he threw 5 picks and a half. It was a half, right?
Yeah, half. Yep.
They put Tyrod back in that game, and they almost won.
They
didn't, but like he led them
back.
to scores and shit, like crazy. But yeah, thanks for the opportunity, guys. I appreciate you guys letting me on.
Absolutely. Mike, nothing? Good?
Nope.
All right, cool. Thanks, everybody, for joining us on episode 7, AFC West. Go check out Go Fick Yaself, episode 7.
I was just about to say that.
And check out our recent written article on Medium.com from Austin, the most consistent quarterbacks. Also, Alec is continuing to put out draft content on our top 5 quarterback prospects. He just released Josh Allen. So I don't know who he's doing next. But check all that stuff out, man. We got it on everything. We're everywhere.
And if you have like if you have an idea of who you would like Alec to do next, feel free to, hit us up on Twitter.
Hit us in the DMs.
At FAT_team_stats.
Yeah, you'll get it.
You can holler at Alec, at A.DePofi, holler at me, fix the name, holler at Bobby_Souza, holler at Mike. But Mike don't use Twitter, so holler at one of us.
You can holler on Instagram.
The 3 in the is real.
The 3 in E is real.
The 3 in the E is real. The real is a 3. You said find us anywhere. You can find us on pens, by the way.
Mike has a pen.
Select.
Select pens.
One pen.
Wow. And Mike looks like that's not on
That
anymore.
camera's off, dude.
There it is.
Hey, that's our camera, bro.
That's funny.
Cool. All right, nice.
Good
guys.
show, boys.
That was about like 35 minutes.
This episode's over like Alex Smith's career in Kansas City.